was thinking he was going to pull me up so y'all can hear my terrible singing at some point in time.
I thought about it.
I'm sure you did, because at the beginning
I didn't want to get kicked off YouTube, so.
Well, but like last week, we're going to start with kind of a gun fail to kind of bring us into our topic today. And it's not so much as a gun fail as how to quickly interact with the ATF and how quickly they escalate. Yeah, we're making fun of the ATF today. Oh, schnitzel, I forgot to turn on the audio. Screen one, system audio. There we go.
What's going on, man? What's going on? Hey, with the ATF. Okay. I'm here about a solvent trap that you ordered. Okay. You still have it? I'm not going to answer your question. Okay. Well, we're actually here to recover them because they're being used as suppressors. I don't have a warrant. If you let me finish, I can talk to you. Okay. Yep. They're being used as suppressors. Now, we're just here to pick them up. If you don't have it, you can sign that you don't have it anymore. Okay, don't sign anything. So what will happen is if you're called, it will prosecute you federally for an NFA item. Okay. You're obviously going to be on the radar now. I appreciate all the cooperation. We just came to pick it up and have it destroyed. But since you're being such a polite person, I mean, we'll leave it at that. We know what you're using it for, correct? I mean, you bought a kid with your AR-15. I don't know what you're talking about. Exactly. So this isn't the first time we've done this. You want to come back with a warrant? I mean, you can do that. Okay. Have your hand anybody for me, please? Sorry? Take your hand in your pocket. You're on my property. Let me answer the phone. We're law enforcement. We're talking to you in an official capacity, so you don't mind having your hand in your pocket. So. I'm not trying to be jerks here. You are. You're the ATF. We're idiots? Oh, no, I didn't say that. You said you're the ATF. Correct. Well, your entire job is to take away people's guns. I don't think you have any idea what our job is. I know everything about your job. All it is to erode the Second Amendment. Okay. Shall not be infringed. So violent criminals with guns that we take off the street. That's like Waco or Ruby Ridge. Oh my gosh. Bro, dogs? You need to quit. You need to quit reading some of the books. Yes. You're watching too many shows. All right. Well, I'm sure we'll find you again someday. Anyway, have a good one. I appreciate the cooperation. Take it easy. Yes, sir. Watch out for the dogs, guys.
Yeah. You saw how quickly that escalated? It went from, we're here to collect a debris trap, to, you're going to be on our radar now. We're going to catch you with this NFA item. We're going to federally prosecute you. And I mean, the gentleman handled it in a very professional manner, in my mindset, for about as professional as you can interact with the ATF. But they went from, do this, let us talk to you, you're making assumptions.
How you doing, Jailbird?
Hi, Jailbird. Saying, we know you've got an AR-15 or an AR-10. Okay, how do you know? How are you going to make that assumption? Not only that, how did you know that trap was a suppressor? Yes, I see him there, Carl.
Hi, it's Dad. A long time since he's watched one of our shows and said hi.
It has been a minute.
Hey, Dad.
It has, but how do you know people bought these grease traps? Why are you going door to door, knocking and asking, hey, we saw that you purchased this? Well, unless you're doing sketchy stuff or, I don't know, entrapment, which we talked about when those suppressors are really blowing up. We brought the ad up, showed you what it looked like, and kind of warned y'all not to buy from this website and don't buy this object, because they did have them on Amazon. But how did you know I purchased one? You're the ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. You're not the IRS. You can't audit my stuff. So it's a little fishy. And you saw how their tone changed when he brought up Project Mockingbird, Waco, Texas, the dogs. Oh, you watched too many. No, I watched the right amount, because this shows us how y'all act. Let's not forget that, what was it, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, we showed a video where an ATF agent was going door to door doing crap like this, trying to confiscate guns in a state. And the dude called the cops, and the cops arrested the ATF agent who, by the way, acted like a giant infant the entire time of his arrest. Oh, my back hurts and I can't breathe. Are you talking? Yeah, you can breathe. Your
Yeah.
chest hurts. Yeah, it's because you're having a panic attack. Ask me how I know. Yeah, you're having a panic attack. Take a
How do
deep
you
breath.
know?
Yeah.
You said ask.
I've had one or two. So you know what that feels
Hey.
like. Your chest hurts. I can't breathe. Yes, you can. You're hyperventilating right now. I
Yeah.
promise you can breathe.
You can talk, you can breathe.
You're just crying like a little girl going to prison because you got caught doing something that was an actual infringement against the Second Amendment, and there were good cops that were ready to uphold the United States Constitution. You played F around and you found out.
The hard way.
But getting back to, I mean, he brought up multiple, off the top of his head, examples of the ATF. I mean, Waco, Texas was one of the biggest debacles we have had in Texas. It's outrageous that they used what happened and the fires because of the agents that they knew would cause a fire. Well, many women and children, dogs killed by the ATF. The ATF is a walking infringement against the United States Constitution. If cancel culture wants to cancel anything, please, the IRS and ATF. Yep. Carl's over here like, I didn't say it, he did.
No, I was looking around here for something. That's all right.
All right, Space Ranger.
He caught me daydreaming.
Yep. Hey, as long as you can still daydream, you still have a child alive inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
Never grow up. It's a trap. Never grow up.
That's right.
The second you act like an adult, have to be that adult, it's over. You're done. Once you get rid of that inner child and that joyless wonder and the imagination, once you walk away from it, it goes bye-bye forever.
Tell
So
me about it.
yeah, when guys grow up, we don't grow up. We just get bigger. Then we get bigger, nicer toys.
Yes, I was just gonna add that.
Ladies grow up and then they got to be this lady. They've got to be a lady. It's like, I didn't tell you to do that. I'm still a giant kid. Oops. Oh,
They changed their bottles in for beer bottles.
yeah.
The only thing you can do to them now is when they graduate high school and they get done with that party, you have all their stuff sitting out in suitcases out front and go, welcome to the real world.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Oh, yeah, that gets it. The only problem is they keep coming back.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Your dad could probably tell me a few stories about that.
After the Navy, when I went to work on tugboats, but after that, I went and lived with my brother and been independent since then. So he can kind of relate. I mean, I'm sure good old dad over there has plenty of embarrassing stories.
I'm gonna have to invite him to be on the show one of these days.
Of course, he always
stories.
He likes to brag every now and again. Now and again, he still likes to. I'm a little baby. I'm 6'3", 280 pounds. I haven't been a baby for 29 years.
You're always going to be their little baby.
And I turned out to be the black sheep of the family.
Oh, join the group.
Yeah. It is.
But,
somebody's got to have them, but when the stuff hits the fan, who do they usually call? We need this fixed. Okay.
Yep. Who needs that? Call me.
Yeah. Hey, I'm looking at a new pistol. Okay. Where? Because I've been trying to help you out for
It's
months.
amazing. I know we're getting off the subject here, but it's amazing when you're little, and you get up Christmas Day and there's this toy put together that you know Dad stayed up all night to put the thing together.
Oh, they never
But when they
tried to
get
make.
older, they forget how to put stuff together.
Not my dad.
My dad did.
I'll vouch for mine. You
he-
said in the
he-
beginning of the show before the
he-
show started.
Oh yeah, I did. He knows more about modern cell phones than I do.
Dad
that-
couldn't figure how to put the weed eater together to go run
He
it.
knew how to send the little reactive messages that would put bubbles and crap on your screen. I'm like, how'd you do that? Oh, you just got to do this and this. And I'm like, what the hell? I didn't know this existed. And then I swapped over to Android, and he can't do that to me anymore.
Android
I
is
hate
a phone to have. I would
I
not have an
hate-
iPhone.
And I'm watching the debates of, and I know we're well off topic at this point in time, but they always call the joke is there's nobody more stubborn than somebody that owns an Android and refuses to go to an iPhone. iPhone is overpriced garbage. I had an iPhone for over a decade, and I went through probably 10 or 11 iPhones, so that's at least one a year. And I wanted something more reliable. The battery was going to last and have the features I wanted to have. The only one that had that was an Android.
Uh-huh.
So I went and got an Android, and I have loved it. Now, I do miss having iTunes on my phone itself. I don't like having my backup iPhone for my iPod, but there's a way around it, and I'm sure I can figure it out if I actually took the time to do it. But still, I don't understand the hype for iPhone other than the fact that it's the biggest, best. It's got this and these bells and whistles. It's overpriced bullshit.
But you can't, like you said, there's a lot of stuff you can't do on an iPhone that you can do on an Android.
Yeah.
When StreamYard came out first, you could not do it on an iPhone. They wouldn't. Their browser would not open it up.
Huh.
It took 6-8 months of them working with iPhone so iPhone could do it. Because they made it for, computers and your phones and stuff. But yeah, it's ridiculous.
And hi to all the people watching. We told y'all last week this show is more meant for y'all to ask questions.
And if you have questions, ask them.
Because I don't want to go into news topics much anymore, but I promise a gun fail. And if I can use that gun fail to segue into a topic, then so be it. Just means you got to be here on time now. But I'm not looking to raise my blood pressure by covering articles that I know are just going to annoy the crap out of me and make me want to cuss and say every F-bomb under the sun.
So you telling me we need to start another show like Where I Found You on?
Oof. I would say yes, but I still want to keep it relatively Second Amendment related. At least a portion of it. Doesn't have to be the whole thing.
Well, we can change it to the first hour of Second Amendment stuff and go to a second hour or whatever, divide the show in half and go to it and rename it something similar to that other show.
Yeah, true. Wouldn't be a bad idea because those were always humorous topics.
Your humorous topics, especially the Florida man. And then we got to have Wally move to Florida so we got somebody to tease.
True. All right, Wally, pack your shit.
Nope.
Come on, chop.
Hey, it's just a little bit farther than South Carolina.
Nope.
Yeah, and hurricanes and ants.
If you're good, you can go over to Georgia and go down that way. You don't have to go through South Carolina.
No, you still have to go through South Carolina to get to Georgia.
Not if you go up and around.
I'm not taking that roundabout way.
We're trying though, folks.
Yeah. No, those
we reached double digits.
Yeah, we've been in and out of double digits here. But again, this is meant for y'all to be interactive and ask questions. But I don't want to keep hating the government more than I already do. So I don't want to cover these disgusting propaganda-based articles. And I've proven multiple times that Google is biased, and whenever we search for said topics, it is always going to show what leans in their favor. So why keep spreading hate? Why not spread awareness and education
That's
and
it.
stories and fun and laughter? I mean, hell, last week I brought up a personal gun fail.
Yeah, he brought up a personal gun fail. And I tell you the truth, I never thought I'd hear that from Cameron.
Well,
That was shocking,
stuff happens.
especially when he said it went off.
Yes, Carol Hernandez, I do have DuckDuckGo, and I have tried DuckDuckGo. Same problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
DuckDuck, because Carl's the one that actually recommended me use DuckDuckGo for topics, Second Amendment positive topics. And at the beginning, it did work. But after about 2 weeks, I could see it getting more and more and more away from where I'm really wanting to be. And then eventually it just turned into the next Google. So they got bought out at some point in time.
You got a text to lower your flag to half staff for the Queen. Why, Barbara?
Barbara, I got a piece of paper that says I don't have to care what Britain said since 1775.
Nope.
Betty White lived longer. We win.
I'll go out and throw some tea bags in the lake. So. Hey, I got him to laugh.
Oh, God.
Iced tea to the Queen.
Yeah. I'm not lowering
And it's
it.
not,
I don't-
well, it's taxed by the state government, but
Yeah, oh, yeah. Don't get me started. The
Yeah.
ATF and taxes and hiring 87,000 agents that you're going to get trained up to deal with Billy Bob over here that's been
Yeah, I
raised
wouldn't
on a
lower it.
farm for 4 generations. I'm sorry, but your weekend warrior training does not compete with the redneck.
No.
And
Not at all.
And I love bringing up the redneck for these conversations. I love Carl's over here like this shit again. Really?
No.
Yes, the redneck. The redneck is the most dangerous American ever. You cannot prove to me otherwise. One, they can jumpstart anything with what they drink.
Yep.
Not only that, can they jumpstart it, they can fix it. If it doesn't exist, they will jimmy rig a way for it to exist and function. So if they think of some, I don't know, massive death trap or killdozer, they're going to make it happen. The next part about this is, the biggest number of people into the military usually come from Texas, Florida, Louisiana, the southern states where they're a little bit of red around the collar. So not only are these guys trained to do whatever the hell they need to do on the farm, then they get trained to be killing machines.
Yeah.
That's why the redneck is the most dangerous person in America. And I'm talking about it in general. Yes, we have special forces. We have SWCC, Navy SEALs, paratroopers, Rangers, Green Berets. Yeah, no, those guys are more than capable enough. But you know what they're made up of? A lot of rednecks.
Country boys.
Yep.
Ha! Terrifying thought, isn't it?
Wonder
The
why.
guy, especially when you find out they're from Alabama. You are 100% correct, Phoenix. We are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic.
Exactly.
Yep.
Our democracy is failing us. That's because we don't have democracy. Yeah.
And speaking of Phoenix, if you missed her on the show Tuesday night, she will be on another show this Sunday night. Family Voices. That woman is amazing.
Yeah, and our Constitution isn't failing us. It is our governing individuals that are failing us for enforcing the United States Constitution. Mourning the loss of our democracy. Duct tape. Yeah. Duct tape can fix a lot of things. Turns no into
Okay, Barbara, I'll check it out.
It can fix stupid with enough duct tape.
Yes, it can.
People like to say you can't fix stupid. Well, you're right. We can't fix Joe Biden. He's senile. There's a difference.
Stupid is as stupid does.
But I had to throw a jab out there. But you can fix stupid people. Lessons learned the hard way are lessons remembered. So with enough duct tape and, I don't know, maybe a cattle prod, you can 100% fix stupid. It's going to hurt somebody.
Car battery with jumper cables.
Oh, God. I saw a photo where a downstairs neighbor installed a stripper pole and drilled through the floorboards of the upstairs neighbor. And that was my first thought. Jumper cables. Don't drill through my hole.
What makes you think that, Barbara?
Military is preparing for something. I think we're going into martial law. Actually, we've been doing this for a while now. The United Nations have been in the United States since 2020 or 2019. We had photo documentation. Actually showed it on one of our previous episodes. Not only that, the Army was just caught repainting their trucks to a forest green. It was a specific camo name. And the funny part about that is the only real areas with that are us and Russia in summertime. Why are you painting your vehicles like this? Not only that, we had the giant push for mandatory vaccinations for the military, thinning out the people that will actually stand up against the tyrannical government. So there's that aspect. Now we're demanding fair compensation, and those that EOS get their jobs back with an increase in pay and a potential position up, rank up. What other examples have we had?
Have you been following the deal on digital currency?
No, I have not. I probably should.
Yeah, it's something you need to really look into. They're saying that by the first of the year, even before then, everything will go on digital currency. And you know what's worse? You know what bank it's coming out of? The Bank of England.
That was.
Oh no, we got two of him.
Yeah, that was weird. It just Opera just completely crashed on me. Yeah.
ATF.
Yeah, it would be the NSA watching me. NSA is the ones responsible for wiretapping, which they've been doing since the 80s. I didn't say did it in the 80s. I said since the 80s. If you don't think they're still listening to us.
Yeah, look up Runner 2022.
We have multiple Ruby Ridge. We had Waco, Texas. We had Project Mockingbird, MK Ultra. If you really don't think your government's willing to do sketchy crap against its people, you haven't been reading history any. All right, Carl, what were you explaining about digital currencies?
Digital currency, there's a lot of talk going on it right now about you can forget about your green money, your coins, all that. It's going to go to digital currency. That way the government can track every purchase that you do and allow you to only buy certain things.
Well, they've been pushing for that for the past few years as well. That was another example. The federal government is trying to get permission for the IRS to have access to your checking account, which is a federal offense, by the way, if you didn't know. The
Right.
government has absolutely no need to be into your checking account whatsoever. The only
Yeah,
time they should have to check this is if you get audited. And with how they spike their numbers for another 87,000 agents, everybody's getting audited. Every
Right.
single middle class and lower class person is getting audited.
But they're
Um,
talking about everything will be ran out of one bank, and that bank is in England.
We have laws against monopolies.
I know.
That is monopolizing at its absolute definition right there.
I know.
One
Government
individual-
controlled monopoly.
That is a terrible. We need to get back to the silver and gold standard, but everybody that's talked about that. By the way, Lincoln, Kennedy, who else was there? There have been multiple presidents and higher ranking peoples that have looked into the reasoning behind why we got away from the gold and silver standard, why we're going more towards a centralized banking system. And every time they started talking about doing investigations into the central banking system or getting back to the gold and silver standard, what happened to them? They were assassinated.
And Trump
Kennedy wasn't shot, by the
talking
way.
about this at all his rallies about what they're pushing.
President Kennedy was not shot in the back of the head, by the way. That's why we never found the shooter. He was shot by somebody inside the vehicle. All the videos that you find only does that rear image. Well, why was the first lady running backwards out of the car? Because she wasn't grabbing her husband. She was fleeing because the shooter was in the car with them.
Yep.
Look, if all they show you is the rear end of the car, look harder. You'll get a full image of everything going on, and you will see the first lady turn and run. So every time we've gone against a centralized banking system, somebody has ended up dead because of the fact that if we went back to the gold and silver standard, we would be on a more even playing field.
Oh, yeah.
Gold and our American money would hold its value everywhere. That $1 certificate you pay, money is just a piece of paper, by the way. When it was on the gold and silver standard, you could go in. If I had $1 that equaled a silver dollar, I could go in and trade this dollar bill, this piece of paper, for a silver coin, which, by the way, is currently sitting about $19 an ounce. So that $1 is worth $20, $15, give or take. So our money would go back to going farther. It would actually, be back to where housing would be $20,000, $30,000 for a great house. That's why because they want us divided. They want us broke. They want us poor and fighting each other. Because there is no left and right. There is one central body that is pushing all this crap. Why do you think the Democrats fight so aggressively for controls over absolutely everything?
Mm-hmm.
So they can keep pushing their propaganda and fear. Look at perfect example of this. President Obama ruled into law that they could spread a false narrative. Mainstream media has permission because before that it was legal for a little bit. The president found out, passed the bill. I can't remember what president passed the bill saying you have to report the media. Not your side, not their side. You don't report left and right. You report the news, and people determine what they feel about this. Now they want to rip away those feelings, tell you what you're supposed to feel. They tell you to hate your neighbor. They tell you to hate Joe over here because he's African American, or Nancy because she's Filipino, Dave because he's Hispanic. So they want to keep us at a racial war and a divide, and thinking that corporations are a massive problem, but they are not the root of these problems. Go higher. There's only about 4 companies that own the majority of everything produced in the world. 4 companies, give or take. Don't quote me on that one. It's 34, something around there.
But no, if we come down to a digital currency like what they're talking about, that's when I say you'll see the biggest civil war you ever see.
Oh yeah.
No, it won't be the biggest.
Oh yeah, it will. It'll beat any war that's been out there.
Here's why. You're fighting a group of trained snipers, hunters, EOD, mechanics, all the guys that worked on this stuff. 11.7 million veterans on American or in America right now. 1.8 million enlisted. 117 million registered hunters. 112 or 117, give or take, and I'm rounding my numbers off. Fighting against a group of people that don't know how to tell what's in their pants. Now, mind you, if martial law is declared, there is going to be a little feud between corrupt cops. There's going to be great divides amongst every mass group of anybody, cops, feds, military members. So don't take these numbers at whole value. I want to say 70% of the military itself supported Trump. 30% was kind of either Biden, Obama, or libertarian or conservative.
Right.
So still kind of on the other side of the fence, but not all the way over there. Then when you look at their numbers, what usually happens when they get in a fight? They swing, they get hit, they run. So I don't think I think there will be a civil war, but it will be the biggest ass whooping anybody has handed out since 1776. It's going to be a violently one-sided fight in favor of the people that like guns.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you need nukes and F-16s to fight against the military. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Because they won't be used on us.
They can't be used on us. They cannot be legally deployed on
The
American
ones
soil.
we got to worry about in any way, shape, or form is who's working for the UN. Because
Yes.
the UN will be doing the policing.
Oh, they'll try. But
And
you
they
know
are
what they
from
also,
all over the world.
yeah, but the funny
I would
part
say
is they
most
usually
of them are mercenaries.
the funny part is most of them have a nice big shiny thing on them that says the UN. So, and we talk about that a lot on the show. Don't put a target on yourself.
That's
That's
right.
why I don't like
You're
open
the
carry.
end.
So, I'm not seeing people. I'm seeing paper targets.
Yeah.
It's a little silhouette of a man. Scaramouche.
I mean, yeah.
It's if the UN gets permission to come onto American soil, it is still they would have to start northern states, work their way down, and get the support of the people. And even still, as soon as they touch foot on American grounds, it's not like we are. If you actually look at the real maps, not the ones the Democrats put out on voting. Yeah, Trump won that election by a landslide, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And we just got another red flag because of that. My bad. Probably got banned for that. Yeah. Thanks,
Let's
YouTube.
not get banned too much on YouTube. We already got 2 good strikes. Third strike stops it again.
Yep. We really got to find a lawyer for that crap. Yeah, you're right, Jane. The poor get poor and the rich get richer.
We
But
gotta make
if the UN
money and
doesn't,
get Vimeo on our website.
if
It's
the UN
about
does
ready to be published.
if the UN does magically manage to get boots on the ground, again, they're dealing with people that built those things or know how they're built, so can disable it with a bolt or a 22, and then they've got to get through. I mean, all I really need to do is go to Florida, get a bag of meth, grab all the Florida men I can, and just whoever gets the most kills gets the candy. And it would be game over. Florida man is nothing to mess around with. That dude is a walking nightmare for normal people. It's hilarious for us, but I can imagine on the outside looking at this, how are you alive? What's wrong with you?
And yes, we would go to Rumble, but I want it live because on Rumble we can't use the StreamYard.
So, if the UN manages to magically get not only that, the amount of people that just got an open season tag, that it is one of the most common horror movies out there. It is its own genre. Hunting the most dangerous game in the world. What is it?
Human being.
Mm-hmm. So, boots on ground. All these hunters with a little thick thigh to them just heard open season. No bag limit, no tags necessary. And it's like fish in a barrel, except you get prizes. It really is. If you look at it like a video game, there's loot.
And lots of it.
Lots of it. So, yes, I do see a civil war coming if we go to cryptocurrency, especially being a central one government ran bank, because they will 100% control every single penny we have.
Yeah. They'll control what you can buy and what you can't buy. If you're showing you're going out to buy, let's say, an $800 gun, it'll come back and say declined.
Yep. We'll go back to a barter and trade system, if anything. I can provide services, you can provide food. I do services for you, you provide me food. That's why the government hated that system so much, because all the wealth stayed with all that money, or all the benefits stayed with the people. So when you had a barter and trading system, as long as you could, everybody had to be useful. But that also put the typical male and female rule. Yes, I do think the military will take sides. And I think they will do everything they can to EOS or dishonorably discharge those who would side with Americans. But the barter and trading system would put back a traditional husband-wife type lifestyle, what people base the American dream off of, because the husband would have to be able to provide services or grow crops, make food, or the wife would be able to make pastries or cakes, different things like that. And they would go, or so different things like that. So the wife would regularly be home raising and dealing with the child. Husband would be away doing whatever business he would need to do in order to bring more food back home, whether it be hunting, gathering, foraging, or going and building a house, going back to being a mercenary and dealing with threats. It goes back to giving everybody the power again, and the government, the controlling bodies hate that system because they can't get their hands in those cookie jars. So they set taxes up constantly. Well, we need to get our money some way or another, which that's where we started getting to, well, now I have to find a job that actually pays me money so I can afford to pay the government taxes and keep my property. So that's why they divided it or took that ability away from the people with taxes, because they wanted the money. And if they can't get it in a barter and trading system, what do? They've got to figure out some way to tax us. Yeah. Look at the veteran that got out of the military, got 100% disability. If you get 100% disability from the VA, you do not have to, depending on your state, do not have to pay property taxes. 100% disabled veteran bought a property, didn't have to pay taxes on it, put solar panels, had their own water processing, had their own farm, everything. Bought a little double wide cash money, didn't have to pay taxes ever, legally. And they impounded his property.
Mm-hmm.
They came and took everything. They banned him from his place. There's an older gentleman, some 80 years old, who had his house stolen away from him because he didn't have to pay taxes anymore. Taxes are 100% theft. They are not. Do you see them going for your roads? I don't. I see plenty of potholes. Do you see them going for building maintenance and upkeep and abandoned houses to try and deal with these? Nope. Where do you think the money's going? How come we couldn't get $1.5 billion for Trump's wall, but we've spent trillions of dollars in the past few months by Democratic gross overspending in foreign aid?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think your taxes are going? And who the hell do we owe so many trillions of dollars to? How is that possible? Who on this planet have we not provided services and aid for that we couldn't be like, yep, services due, we are now even. How does the deficit happen like this? It doesn't. If you think about it logically, a deficit does not happen. With our raisings and teachings and everything we have studied and learned from banking, history, diplomacy, everything we've learned, services rendered get compensated. So if we look at every country, we have helped, assist, aided, everything since the beginning of our creation as America. Who have we not put hands on, whether it be healing or violently? Hands are rated E for everybody. You get what you ask for, so take it as you want it. But how is it we have not been? Because that's why the deficit is there, to make people think, oh, money's really important. I need to have as much as I can. No, money is worthless. Money is absolutely worthless. People like to think of the bare necessities. You need air conditioning. I need these nice fancy clothes. I need my cell phone. Nope. You need a shelter, food, air, and water. That's all you need to survive. Those 4 things. As long as you can raise a farm, animals, you really don't need anything else. You've got your food. If you are smart and built on a location with a water well or running stream, rivers, lakes, and can sanitize your own water, the government's not needed, money's not needed, which every human being at one point in time in history has had the ability to do everything I just listed. It's hard manual labor. Y'all do also understand back then, when this was a common practice, the citizens only worked 118 days out of the year, which is true and not true in the same aspect. They'd continuously work, but they were working, providing for their families and their houses. They were taking care of their crops and animals and everything. They were working 365 days a year, but they weren't working like what we work now, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, 6 to 3, 7 to 2, whatever. Or if you're unfortunate, 12-hour days, 20 days on, 10 days off. So no, you don't need any of this stuff. They're luxury items. In fact, when it was common for people to live in homes without air conditioning, we had manufactured ways to keep a house cool in the summer heat. So yeah, it's not 60 degrees, but if it's 115 degrees outside, the house would be 75, 80 degrees. Yet the insulation we used for several decades, asbestos, was cancer causing. By the way, veterans and firefighters, there is now a claim against AFFF, aqueous film forming foam. It's a carcinogen. So if you've ever had to fight a fire with this stuff and have been exposed, do some research. You might be entitled to some money.
Did you know what year we started giving money to foreign countries?
No, it was before that. Yeah. I mean, giving money or like traded and sold shit?
Giving money, foreign aid type money.
1996?
1947.
Oh, a little older, a lot older than I thought.
We gave it to sent Western Europe the largest foreign package history to rebuild Europe after the devastation caused by World War II in the Soviet Union. That was the first time we sent foreign aid.
Considered to have a 0% interest for new home sales. That's an interesting.
In 2019, you know what country received the largest amount of foreign aid?
Russia.
Afghanistan.
Oh.
Let's see if I can pull it
And
up.
you're right, Jules. Imprisoned felons and fat cat politicians live better lives than the average citizen.
Yep.
And if you don't think they do, what do prisoners get? 3 hots and a cot, rec time. They don't have to work. Beds aren't the most comfortable, but that's really the only problem they have. Don't
Okay.
ask me how I know.
Here, Afghanistan received in 2019 Right.
1.3
1.3 billion.
Jesus.
Syria got
Ooh.
573.1 million. Iraq 588.9.
I gotta cover this comment real quick. Phoenix, you're 100% right. I also want to add a stipulation to that. We, the people, should be able to vote if our governing officials get a pay raise.
Exactly.
Why?
Yep.
That's like me going into my boss's office and saying, "Hey, man, pay me $20 an hour," and him just being like, "Yep, I have to." That's how that works. Does that work that way in real life? Hell no.
I wish it did.
Not even close. So why do you get to say you make more money?
Hello, Evelyn.
Getting millions of dollars out of thin air, by the way, because your salary is $162,000 to $168,000. You get $116,000 salary for the rest of your life after you've been in politics. So once you go in once, you can retire and be done for life. Because if you can't live off $116,000 a year, you're living well above the normal people's means.
Yeah.
I think politicians should have to live off of, and no, I don't consider minimum wage a living wage. Minimum wage is not meant to
They
be a
live
living
on
wage,
the average wage of middle income in
which
your
is
state.
usually about $14 to $16 an hour. So these guys have to live off the equivalent of $15,000 or $15 an hour, or $34,000 a year,
Something like that.
give or take. So no, you have to live off the average income median of every single, and you get audited every year, no matter what. Doesn't matter if you've had a good year, a bad year, whatever. You get audited regardless. Plain and simple. If you have $500 that came out of nowhere, you better be able to explain where that $500 came from. Because if you took a bribe on anything, I don't want you in politics anymore. You are a weakness and a disease, because now that you've accepted a bribe, they are going to blackmail you. Once they've got you once, they own you.
Yep.
That's it. Oh God, Phoenix. I like her.
Oh yeah.
AOC needs to put her lips back where they belong. And yeah, I know that sounds rude and crude, and it's meant to be, but I absolutely despise her, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I got a list. And I mean, we know how Kamala Harris got into politics. Clear your throat. Yeah. Nope. And I mean, there's photos of her working in bars and crap. So if I worked at a bar, can I go be a politician? Hell no. They're going to bring up my arrests. Oh, we got you doing this. Yeah. And if I look through, I don't know, Beto O'Rourke's laundry list, or how about Joe Biden's son?
Yeah.
Am I really that bad of a guy? So what do you
And
gonna
the
say?
thing, our tax dollars pay for his security.
Yeah, armed security, usually with an MP5. Don't ask me how I know that. MP5 being a semi-automatic SMG, or a semi-automatic or a fully automatic SMG. For those that don't know, SMG is basically a pistol on steroids that can shoot all the bullets very quickly. So why do you get fully automatic weaponry? And I will make the argument, I would rather have a semi-automatic all day long. I do enjoy the option of having fully automatic, or preferably in my case, 3-round burst. I don't know why. I've been more because of the accuracy aspect, I can imagine. Because trying to control fully automatic is quite difficult. But when you go to semi-automatic, you can shoot and go back to it. But the fully semi-automatic does not work best in hot, heated situations where you're pushing very quickly. Fully automatic, spray and pray, and let Jesus lead the way. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be the saw gunner and kicking a door wearing a full bodysuit of armor where you, unless you've got a 50 BMG, you're not going to touch anything vital, and just say happy birthday. I'm bringing presents, lots of them.
Right.
But that's a whole other tangent and chaos. So yeah, I can't agree with any politician. One, being able to vote on the ability to give themselves a raise. Two, I think they all need to have mandatory investigations regularly. I don't think opponents should be able to bash each other. I don't think it's right that you can belittle somebody's name. You're trying to better the people. Why do I care about your dirty laundry? As long as you do what you promised what to do for us, I don't care. So yeah, I've got a lot of different standings on there. And yeah, women want to be equal. Y'all been equal for a long time. I know that's going to piss some of y'all off, but you have. But when it comes to women and children first, what do y'all do? A lot of y'all still women and children first. Or I saw a disgusting video the other day about that, and I'm not trying to piss anybody off too much, but I just want to set an example here. There was a gentleman sitting on the bus, and another lady was giving it a disgusting look. So his buddy tapped him and said, "Hey, man, she's pretty pissed that you're in a chair and she's not." Well, this gentleman gets up and moves on the bus and has cerebral palsy. So he has to use 2 crutches to even move. But he gave up his seat because he's a man. Figure that out. So, and I wasn't meaning to make it that. I just think the feminist movement being pushed right now is just another political propaganda play by mainstream media to divide men and women away from each other. Because I mean, hell, look at what's that doctor's name that we all want to punch in the face? Fauci. He got caught. There's a news article floating around about him where he was pushing for world overpopulation by, what was it, mandated immunization, something like that. He put an article out like 20, 30 years ago talking about controlling the populace.
The population in this country is exploding with the border.
I mean, hell, yeah, well, that's the reason we're exploding, mainly because of the border.
Yeah.
Sorry, Carol, I just saw that. I didn't get to see the other comment earlier. I wasn't trying to come off on you, but I'm just making points.
We got about 2 minutes left.
Yeah, I know. Jules, I know that was an exception. What they did not look for was the fact that he had crutches. They completely overlooked it and just looked at the fact that he's a man. Even when I have to walk around with my cane, people still, yes, I still have bad flare-ups, so I need a cane to have any kind of mobility where I need even to go to the bathroom, by the way.
Yeah, the shower went fast, folks.
But people really still look at me like, you're a big, strong man. Stand up. Well, I'd rather not. In fact, I'd rather lay down more than anything. But I'm still expected, because of my size and stature, even though I have a cane, I need to get out of the way of a chair or no, I can't use the disabled parking spot because I have a cane and they have a wheelchair. Like, they get to sit down. I got to hobble my ass inside. So there's a massive divide amongst everything. That's the point I'm trying to make. And we need to get back to being Americans again, making things in America, making things that are meant to last in America.
Mm-hmm.
We've got refrigerators from the 60s that are still kicking, but God forbid your brand new $3,000 refrigerator lasts more than 5 years. But that's our time. I do not want to go over too much, so I appreciate all of y'all showing up. I know we all went off on
tangent,
a random tangent on something not even related to So it's been a very interesting show, and hopefully y'all get to see why we dislike the ATF as much as we do. I look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place, right here on the Bill of Rights Network. Be sure to go to the Facebook, check out all the other shows. Carl's constantly got more and more coming up. Yeah, I'd love an old model too.
You
But
don't know?
an old model refrigerator.
Let's see. Is this the right?
Oh, no, I don't know your. You've got too many for me to track anymore.
Now you can read them. Wait until it starts over again.
No, I'm good. But I digress. Go to the Facebook Bill of Rights Network. We will get back into posting the Discords more frequently. So if y'all have any questions, you can reach out to us there. Because this show is all about interaction. And if you're too afraid to ask here, then you can message us directly. We're not going to try and neglect you at all. So please once we get the Discord ready to go again, get in there, interact, talk to the people, share your memes, share your photos, fails, different things like that. As always, I'm Cameron.
I'm Carl.
And I'm Wally.
And I don't have anything clever to say today. We'll see you next week.